In my experience with kittens, if you want to take a nice little kitten and turn it into a nice big grown-up cat, it's not that hard. You just be nice to the little thing. You pet its little belly and flip it over and rub its adorable little fuzzy jaw. And this has worked for me every time except once. My family got a cat named Tui. Same thing, sweet little kitten. We treated it well. We did all that stuff. Little saucers of milk, scratched the belly. Everything's going to plan. And somewhere around year one, the thing just went nuts. It would jump up on you and rub against you and purr like a normal, well-adjusted cat, and you'd think, oh, social cue, I'm supposed to pet this cat. Wrong, sucker. The cat actually was duping you into a dubious ploy to murder you. So you'd start to pet the thing, and then it would flip over, and it would just rabbit kick your arm until it was this bloody mass of clawed up hamburger. The thing is, we did everything right with that cat. There's no reason it should have gone berserk. But if we're to be honest, I bet we all know a family or two where the same thing applies to a kid. Parents did everything right, they were super nice, they raised the kid the right way, and then the kid just went off the deep end, did a bunch of weird stuff, so nobody could ever really put their finger on why. There's one super popular Bible verse about parenthood that everybody quotes. It's Proverbs 22:6. And it says, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not turn from it. Which is great for people who train up a child in the way they should go, and when they get old, they do not turn from it. But it's really confusing and frustrating and potentially even destructive when we take that verse as a promise for all time, and then parents raise a kid in the way they should go, and when they get old, they completely and in every way turn from it. I'm not trying to pick a fight with people who view verses like this as universal promises for all time, because I've been there. That's how I read Proverbs for the longest time. It was also a really confusing book to me for the longest time because I felt like, all right, every 2 sentences in this book are promises that I should be able to take to the bank. If you do this, you will get this. Yet I would do those things and it wouldn't always turn out this way, and I'd observe it in other people and it wouldn't always turn out this way. And yet a lot of times it would. So what gives? Well, somewhere along the way it occurred to me that the interpretive key to the book of Proverbs is right there in the title. See, the book of Proverbs is not titled the book of promises. It's called the book of Proverbs because, drumroll please, they're proverbs. And intuitively, we all know how to take a proverb. We know that proverbs are general truisms that give us a sense of an ideal. This might help me make my point. Just a few verses later, in verse 11 of Proverbs 22, it says, he who loves a pure heart and whose speech is gracious will have the king for a friend. I know lots of people with pure hearts and gracious speech, and none of them have kings for friends. And further, even the guy who wrote Proverbs, Solomon, theoretically trained up his child in the way he should go. And when his child got older, not only did he completely turn from it, but he also led an open-armed rebellion against his dad that caused the kingdom to be split in two. So here's what I think. Training up a child in a godly, wise, loving, common sense context is of course good and ideal and what we should all be shooting for. The reality is people have free will and sometimes they'll make choices and sometimes those choices will just be destructive. Could that have to do with bad parenting? Could. Could it just have to do with people being jerks sometimes? Yeah, it could also have to do with that. We don't have a promise from God here. What we do have is a general truism about what is wise and ideal. This is completely proof that the little jaw and belly scratching thing works. Look, that is a completely content, happy cat. You can jiggle her around. She just doesn't care. If you like these videos where we ruin treasured verses of the Bible, you should check out offthepage.com because they're the ones who came up with the idea and they're the ones who sponsor the whole thing. So offthepage.com, get over that way, see what they have going on. Videos, blog posts, good stuff all around. Thanks. Let's ruin another one soon.